Foamy, we're here.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You know, I have to apologize. I want to start this pod out with an apology.
What do you apologize?
My entitlement is crazy. Yo, Foamy, I'm just going to pull up in Clearwater. Make combo score happen for me.
Hey, man. Hey.
That's kind of crazy, though. Like, yo, Foamy, I'm just going to pull up on you and we're going to have an episode of Combo Score.
Hey, man, listen. This is, I don't get to come back to New York anymore. So this is, New York coming to me.
Yo, I don't know who's more eccentric, New Yorkers or Floridians, because I was on the side of the highway and there was like a lady with two sticks and they were sharpened. Like if she would have poked, like they would have died, and she was like in full kung fu mode.
Wow, in Florida. Here.
Yeah, right outside of Disney.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I think that's cool, but I mean, kind of the location was kind of weird, like right on the side of the highway.
Florida man, or in this case, woman, it's a real thing. Hashtag Florida man, and it's a real thing.
Florida or the Bronx, crazier stuff.
Man, that's a really good question.
Because you grew up playing ball, Harlem, the Bronx.
100%.
Yonkers was pretty. You ever played in Yonkers?
Never played in Yonkers. Played
That's
in co-op.
crazy.
Played in Co-op City.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Yeah.
Man, I am gonna lean the Bronx. Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna lean the Bronx. I mean, the Bronx has like squirrels that are like mixed with other species.
But if an alligator fought a squirrel, who would win?
A squirrel from the Bronx, and that's what I'm saying. And a squirrel from the Bronx with all of his people.
With the rats with him?
I mean, with the whole gang.
Gang.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Shouts to Jug Harlow. Didn't he have a song Gang on that latest album?
I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't finish the album. Florida is crazier in a different way. You know?
How so?
Not as much footwear being worn. Definitely more, barefoot bandits down here for sure.
But there is a big sneaker culture here.
Oh, no, 100%. But I'm just
what? I
saying.
feel like I see a lot of tattoo culture, a lot of sneaker culture.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Bikes, a lot of motorcycles.
Yeah.
But nah, man. I mean, New York is always home. You know that. But it's been good to, settle down a little bit down here. We got the new building. Just trying to keep things rolling, man.
It's crazy where you came from, starting a YouTube channel, and now you have your own building. Talk to me about the trajectory of that, because do you feel like there was bumps along the way where like it really accelerated, or do you feel like it was more of a gradual acceleration?
I think gradual. I think it's been slow and steady for my brother and I. Like, we never really hit. I feel like sometimes in social media, whatever platform you're on or all the platforms, it can be like you get that like rocket ride real quick where you go from like, oh man, 5,000, subscribers or followers or whatever. And next thing you know, it's like, oh damn, we're at 200K. It wasn't like that for us. For us, it was really, we've been doing this for like the better part of the last 10 years. So for us, it really has been slow and steady. And we never really had, we talked about this a little bit, you and I in the past, but we never really had a set plan, which I don't know if that's a good thing, but we kind of just let things go where they went and just worked hard and tried to create cool shit and create cool content, kind of trust that shit would fall into place. And nah, it kind of has. When
you started, did you see a vision even like what you see? Was it almost like a hobby, or you felt like this is my job now?
No, hobby. When we first started, I had knee surgery. My brother had knee surgery. We were we were broke. We were kind of just like bullshitting while we rehabbed our knees.
Now the Tesla's outside, so it's crazy. I'm flexing for you guys.
Shit, Buckets is in a Tesla. He's my own brother. He stunts on me. You see him out there.
Must be nice.
It must be nice. So
shouts to Charlie, man, for setting this all up.
Nah, for sure, man. It's been dope though. We definitely didn't see it going here. There was a point where it turned from a hobby to, okay, this is going to be a career.
Do you remember that point? Was it like something specific?
I do remember that point. It was Jordan Brand reached out to us and flew us out to Chicago for like a new Jordan release, and I believe it was the Jordan 29, and had us at Michael Jordan's house, had us at his crib. That's out dope. There. And I don't know, I was just like, we didn't get paid for the trip, nothing like that, but I was like, man, this is really starting to turn into something.
Well, you guys realized the value you were bringing to people to be able to be flown out like that to
for
Jordan's
sure.
mansion, right?
For sure. And at that point too, we had definitely started to like, amass some I don't know what our subscriber count was at the time, but it just started to feel like, oh shit. You could kind of feel the energy. It was like, oh shit, this is turning into something. And we love doing it. We love working together. So we were like, man, but I do remember him and I sat down and we talked about it and we were like, man, like we're going to have to really like lean into this and we're going to really have to put the work in. And we did that. So that was kind of when things shifted. When something is a hobby versus when you're turning it into your livelihood and your job and what you do, there can still be some similarities, right? Because, you can love it like a hobby, but you got to be disciplined with it. You got to be business-minded with it and all that stuff. So at that point, things did shift a little bit in a good way.
Yeah, long work hours. Was there ever a point, and I don't even know where you're at with it right now, where outsourcing became important to you, or it's still like mostly you and your brother?
Well, most of the stuff is done in-house. That's kind of the point of this building, this podcast room.
Do you think there will need to be a point where it's more outsourcing?
100%. Yeah, for sure.
And when do you think other creators should realize, like, yo, this is the point where we need to start?
I think it's different for everybody. It depends what you got going on. It depends what your bread and butter is, how many people you have. Like, even the fact that it's two of us is a whole lot different than if it was just me or just him.
Combo is just combo, though.
Nah, facts. That's crazy. No, him and I talk about it all the time. The respect I have for people who do it dully, just like, it's a lot, bro. And, you do it. We have other people in the same space that are doing stuff that we do, and they do it themselves. And then we also know people who have a whole team, from an agent or a manager to people who chop up and edit videos and personal assistants who, run around and, do this and do that.
People that make your schedule for you. I think that's really important.
Facts.
Yeah.
So I think in the next couple years, we probably will build a little bit more of a team. But at the same time, slow and steady wins the race for us. That's been, not for everybody, but for us, that's what's worked. So we're not really super, we got to go get this person or go get someone to do this or go get someone to do that.
You guys have never been that.
No,
ever.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes if you outsource too much,
your brand loses who you are. It's identity.
Exactly. There's a little authenticity there that sometimes can get lost in the mix. If I just turn into the guy who's...
You guys need a third brother, the mystery third brother, who's just like you guys.
I mean, we need about like six. We need about like six. We need a starting five at this point.
Yeah.
But nah, we'll build it as it comes. I think to answer your question, when it shifts and someone needs to start looking to outsource is when it just becomes too much for them. And I think it is a personal thing. Like every basketball player can't play the same amount of minutes.
It's true.
Some guys can. Some dudes can play 40 and it's still cool. Like right now, because I don't have kids, I don't have a family like that. So I can do 7 days a week. I can put in a 70-hour week and feel good. So I think that is the part that varies for everyone. If you got kids or, if you just don't want to work that much. Like right now, we're just leaned into the work thing real heavy. But I'm sure at some point that's going to change for us too.
And how much of the focus is YouTube now? Because that's where it all started.
I think the focus on YouTube has gotten a little bit less. Like we don't do nearly as many videos.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we also recognize
where you started.
Yeah, and don't want to lose that because like that was our bread and butter and really still is our bread and butter. So we never want to we don't want to be those guys that like, okay, you have some success with something, you branch off to some other platforms or business ventures, and then it's just like, all right, forget about all that stuff because you got to remember that's kind of what got you there. So we still have fun with the YouTube. We just do it less. We still, upload videos weekly, a few times a week. Mm-hmm. But at one point it was every day.
It was.
So it was.
And then it was almost every day.
Right. And now it's a couple.
That gave you a little bit of wiggle room, right?
For
if you
sure.
need to do something else.
Yeah, for sure.
The wordage, the verbiage.
Hey,
I love
it. The fine print.
The fine print.
Facts.
You miss New York, man? Because obviously it's like you might be missing something that you feel exists in your head that might not be the same anymore, even though I still love New York.
I do love New York. Always. Like
always and forever.
Always and forever.
It's home.
Man. Yeah, in this life and the next. But it has changed a lot for me. Now, full disclosure, I haven't been back.
This guy's talking crazy about New York. He hasn't even been.
Damn.
Florida man.
Shots fired. Shots fired. Hashtag Florida man. I haven't been back since, and actually, you and I linked when I was back. It was.
Wait, that's before the pandemic.
It was 1 or 2 weeks before the COVID lockdown.
And we actually recorded a pod in person, and it was a lot different. We won't even get into it.
Facts.
But it was a lot different.
Facts.
Look where we made it, man. Look, we're here.
Facts. Yeah, you pulled up on me. I forget where I was at, but maybe in Brooklyn, somewhere.
Yeah.
And you pulled
Did you
up
have
on
work, or that was more family? I forgot.
It was no, that was a family trip. Yeah.
But that's crazy. How long? That's the last time you've been in New York?
That's the last time.
Oh,
so
you can't even talk about how
damn.
New York changed.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even speak on it. It's I do know that I know a lot more people in New York now who are not New Yorkers. So
That's a big fact.
it feels like, I almost feel like New York City, I mean, the Big Apple, big city of dreams, you know? It always had, pulling people from all over the world, like, oh, I'm going to New York. But now it feels like most of the people in New York are not New Yorkers. And I don't think it was like that when we were kids.
Yeah.
So, but I miss it. Ultimately, I want to have a place there too. But we couldn't have none of this.
Yeah.
The studio, our own space, manufacturing our own stuff. Like, we couldn't do that there. So I just think down here is a little bit more conducive to what we're doing right now.
Do you feel like when you bring a New York City mentality somewhere else, it gives you even more of an advantage that it would in New York?
100%.